Man, this whole situation sounds like something straight out of a Walmart Karen handbook. You know the type, full of that "I'm not paying for that" energy, loud, entitled, and somehow always a victim in their own story. But let's get into it. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because I need to know what y'all think about this one. So here's the rundown. She gets pushed out, basically shown the door, and like clockwork, boom, a blessing suddenly falls right into her lap. A brand new opportunity. Funny how that works, right? The timing couldn't be more convenient if you scripted it yourself. From the outside looking in, it's obvious. The moment she's gone, doors magically start opening, like the universe was just waiting for her to step aside. And people watching it unfold, they see the path clear as day. They're not frozen in fear, not overthinking every move. They just say, there it is. That's the play. Walk through. That's how real opportunity works. It doesn't ask for permission, but the folks inside the situation, man, they're still second-guessing everything. Still letting fear take the driver's seat. Scared to jump, scared to fail, scared it might all fall apart. And trust me, I get it. Fear will fog up your vision faster than anything. But let's rewind to that last board meeting for a second, because that was a straight-up circus. Pure confusion, shouting matches, and everyone talking over each other. Now, let's talk about Mary Yvonne for a minute. Here's someone who was definitely not riding with Tiffany's camp. She was vocal, she was firm, and she made it clear she wasn't backing anything Tiffany tried to push. So naturally, you'd think now that the tables have turned, Mary would be the first one leading the charge for change, right? Especially since she's sitting on the Thornton Township Board now. You'd think she'd recognize the moment. This is a time to take control, shift the energy, and finally do something different. But nope. Instead, Mary stood up and gave the most confusing speech of the night. She said they shouldn't buy the Pope's house either. Thought it was a bad idea. Her whole vibe was basically, just pay the bills and keep it moving. Like, really? That's the plan? Just keep the lights on and hope nothing blows up? Look, I get it. Bills have to be paid. That's a fair point. But those same bills, they're not disappearing whether you buy the house or not. The difference is, if someone else snatches a house up, they control what happens next. They can flip the property into anything, something that completely shifts the vibe of the neighborhood. Then your town ends up reacting to someone else's game plan instead of setting the tone themselves. But if the board steps up and takes ownership now, they control the narrative. They get to build something intentional. Turn that space into a real community asset. Because that's what this is all about. Ownership equals power. But too many folks can't see past the short-term noise. They're too stuck in fear, too focused on the weight of responsibility. And I get it. It's scary to carry something that big. But it's still wild watching people fumble the ball just because they're afraid to hold it. Anyway, things didn't stop there. Because Mary's little speech, it went way left real fast at first. I thought I understood where she was going. But then, out of nowhere, she dropped the most random analogy I've ever heard in a public meeting. She said, and I quote, "A house is like a pimp because it needs to be paid every day." Wait, what? That's the comparison she landed on? Look, maybe she meant houses always need maintenance. There's always some new cost popping up. But every day, Mary, be for real. Ain't nobody even living in that house. Who's running up the bills, Casper? There's no dishes piling up, no showers running, no lights flicking on and off. They're not even renting it out. So where's all this daily use coming from? Let's be honest. They could shut that water off tomorrow and nobody would notice. Even if they left it running, who's using it? Nobody. Maybe the air conditioning gets turned on a couple times in summer to keep mold away. But that's it. Windows sealed tight, no bugs, no leaks, no noise. Maybe someone flips on a porch light once in a while. And that's your entire utility bill. That's it. The whole pimp house analogy, straight out of left field. But hey, that's the kind of energy this whole board meeting had. Wild metaphors, missed opportunities, and a lot of people too scared to make a real move. Point one light. One single light. And she's talking like a family of 6 lives there, grilling ribs on the porch every weekend and running up the electric bill. Like, girl, ghosts don't use appliances. I know I'm going off, but this is exactly what happens when people decide no before the conversation even starts. They'll grab any excuse that halfway sounds reasonable just to make it stick. Even if someone offered to cover every cent, she'd still say, "But what about the bills?" Bills for what exactly? Nobody's living there. Nobody's renting it. That's not even the discussion. So why are we pretending an invisible expense is haunting us? The logic? Wild. Just absolutely wild. And the kicker? Her argument never made sense from the start. She began with, "Do we even have the money to pay for this?" And then immediately followed up with, "Even if we do," so basically her mind was already made up. It doesn't matter if the funds are there. If the numbers check out, if the opportunity is once in a generation, her answer's locked on no. Why? Because some people don't actually want better. They're allergic to progress. Deep down, they're uncomfortable with the idea of nice things. And that's the real problem right there. The energy? Completely off. Then, out of nowhere, she pivots the conversation to potholes, traffic cones, and kids play in the street. Like this was a town hall about public works. And look, yeah, those are valid concerns. Abandoned cars, cracked roads, missing stickers. True, but what does any of that have to do with historic property? Be for real. If your actual issue is that you drove by the house once and got a weird feeling, just say that. Stop reaching for random excuses. She's acting like that one drive-by turned her into the spokesperson for all Catholics everywhere. Meanwhile, real Catholics across the country want that house preserved. Why? Because it means something. It's part of their faith story. If they believe the Pope was chosen by God, then his childhood home? That's sacred ground. That's not just a building, it's a symbol. Whether you personally understand it or not doesn't matter. To them, that house carries weight. And honestly, I think she knows that. But it bothers her that someone she doesn't like might benefit from it. You can hear in her tone that fake calm with a sting underneath. This isn't about money. It's about spite. Then she flips again. Suddenly, it's not about religion. It's about finances. We just don't have the money. Oh, really? So which one is it? You don't get the purchase? You think it's a bad idea? Or are we broke now? Pick one. The excuse keeps changing like it's on shuffle. And then comes a cherry on top. I'm not paying for it. Oh, okay, Karen. We heard you loud and clear. You're not paying for it. The good news? They went ahead and bought it anyway. So yeah, hate to break it to you, but you are paying for it. And honestly, sorry, not sorry. Especially with that attitude, here's the truth. If you don't want better, you'll always find a reason to block it. You have to want growth. You have to believe you deserve something good. Because if someone offers you a blessing and you slap it away just to make a point, that's on you. That's self-sabotage. Plain and simple. People do it every day, turning down opportunities, then wondering why life keeps spinning in circles. And yeah, sometimes I laugh. Sorry, but not really. Because at some point, you just have to let people learn the hard way. Mama tried. But if y'all insist on doing it the hard way, Mama's going to step back and let you. That's life. Mama still loves you. Yes, she does. Peace.